Hey guys, my name is Diana Garcia. I'm a licensed mental health counselor in South Florida and founder of Nurturing Minds Counseling, a private practice in South Florida. Okay, so I've been doing 12 tips for the holidays. I don't know why I keep doing that every time I say that. Anyways, so today we're on tip number 6. And so if you haven't checked out some of the other tips, they don't necessarily build on each other, but it's helpful. You might want to check those out first. But for today's tip, we're going to be talking about a DBT skill that's called opposite action. Okay, so we've talked about identifying your triggers, knowing what thoughts are related to that trigger, knowing what feeling, naming that feeling, allowing yourself to feel that. But opposite action is a really good tool if, let's say we planned for a situation, but then something happens that we didn't plan for, or even though we planned for it, in the moment, our emotional reaction feels really intense. And with that, there's a desire to act on that reaction, right? So let's say that urge is I want to yell at someone, or I want to, punch the wall, whatever the emotional reaction is. And so sometimes that reaction isn't always helpful. And a lot of times, you'll hear people say, oh, I was acting out of emotion. I really didn't know, right? Because you're just acting out from that feeling before really pausing. So really kind of nifty tool to remember, it's called opposite action. So a lot of times, especially with my clients, that sometimes they struggle with this piece of just reacting, and then later they regret what they did, and that's something they feel really bad about. And so really to prevent that, I'll just tell them, okay, just think opposite action. So if the desire in that moment is to want to yell, opposite action of that is don't yell, keep quiet, right? If the reaction is to want to, blow up someone's phone, right? Like text someone 20 times, even though you probably know you shouldn't do that. Opposite action, completely take your phone away from your reach, right? So opposite action is literally just reminding yourself, let's do the opposite of what that urge is, especially if you feel like you're just acting out from emotion and that you haven't really had time to think through if that's the best reaction for you. Now, sometimes our urges are helpful, but it's just really knowing. And in that moment, sometimes if we're kind of overwhelmed by the feeling and we're not pausing and stopping, it can just be helpful to say, okay, opposite action, just do that. And then if you think about it and you do still want to engage in that behavior, at least you've thought through the consequences and that's something you're making like a conscious choice. Okay, so opposite action, hope that helps for you in the upcoming holidays or just in general that you can use that tip whenever. Just remind yourself, do the opposite, and then you can always come back and evaluate that situation. All right, hope that was helpful. Hope you have a great one. Bye-bye.